week. We are delighted to have with us Rajamannar, the Chief Marketing and Communications Officer at MasterCard and President of the company's healthcare business. As an accomplished global marketing executive with more than 30 years of experience, Raja is globally recognized as a highly innovative and transformational leader in his field. He has been included in Forbes' top 5 of the world's most innovative CMOs, Business Insider's top 10 of the world's most influential CMOs, and one of Adweek's most tech-savvy CMOs. At MasterCard, Raja is responsible for successfully leading the company's marketing transformation, including the integration of the marketing and communications functions, the development of its priceless experiential platforms, and the creation and deployment of cutting-edge marketing-led business models into the core of the company. Raja is also the author of the Wall Street Journal best-selling book, Quantum Marketing, where he shares pioneering breakthrough strategies to navigate the challenges marketers face to thrive in a modern business world that is changing with unprecedented speed and disruption. So it is an absolute pleasure to have Raja with us here today to share some of the ideas from quantum marketing and beyond. Raja, welcome.
Thank you so much, Chris. Much appreciate the opportunity to share my thoughts here with your esteemed audience and looking forward to it. So if I can just kick off, when I was writing this book, I had multiple themes that were swirling in my mind. One was how marketing has been evolving and changing. The second is how the cultures of countries, regions, and continents, in short, the entire world is rapidly transforming. And number 3 is how marketing is in an unprecedented existential crisis. So these 3 themes together I'm bringing to actually say that the future is very bright if only we know what to do and how to go about it. So with that, let me just jump into each one of these areas. Number 1. When I look at the world of marketing, and I have been in marketing for more than 36 years now, I spent roughly half of my life in managing marketing as a function, and the other half managing the P&Ls of various businesses. And throughout the time, I have been obviously looking at marketing very closely and across different geographies in the world and across different industries. And when I sat down to write the book, actually, it became very evident to me that there were distinct phases of evolution of marketing. Now, marketing is not a new craft. It was being practiced since antiquity. So when archaeologists went and looked in the ruins of Pompeii, they found evidence of marketing. There was actually, believe it or not, evidence of location-based marketing and precise targeting. Now, these things we think are modern-day concepts. They are not. It has been there in the psyche of marketers right from the olden days. And the beauty is that they have been manifesting and evolving as technology kept evolving. Now, what happens is in the first several centuries, literally, of marketing was purely focused on product functionality. This is, I call the paradigm 1 of marketing, or the first paradigm of marketing. The focus was that you have a product that you create, make the best product possible, give it a nice packaging, price it appropriately, and make it available for people to be able to buy it easily without having to go to the other end of the world to buy the product. So convenient location from that point of view. So if you master these 4, marketing should be in a good shape, that your product will sell the most. After all, the premise of paradigm 1 is that people are rational and logical in their thinking and decision making. So why would any consumer not buy a product that is best, priced very appropriately, and is well packaged, and it is easily accessible, right? Seems like common sense. And this common sense, or this paradigm, this perception prevailed for the most amount of time. And the focus therefore was product marketing. And the focus was on product development and enhancements because your product always had to be better than somebody else's. So if you're making a car, So he said, my car accelerates from 0 to 60 in 5 seconds. Somebody comes and says in 4.5 seconds. A third car manufacturing company comes and says, I do it in 4 seconds. So it's always a constant race for product development because consumers go for the best product that is within their reach, both financially and geographically. Now, as things progressed, there was the appreciation suddenly of a new field called psychology, sociology, neurology, anthropology. What this has taught marketers was actually people don't think logically or rationally, nor do they act logically or rationally. They are human beings who are full of human emotions and feelings. It is those emotions and feelings which drive them to make the decisions that they do, to act the way that they do, including buying products. Now, that realization has infused a new level of depth into marketing, and that was the ushering of the second paradigm of marketing, which I call as emotional marketing. In fact, the emotional marketing started evolving so well that marketers realized that you don't have to talk about the product at all and still be hugely successful by talking only about emotions. You don't have to say how good your product is, how well it performs, how reasonably priced it is, etc. Nothing of that is needed. You talk about some emotion about the consumer that they care about, your product flies off the shelves. Now, this was a huge shift if you were to think about it, really. Some of the shining examples of this are very close to me at home, which is MasterCard. The entire priceless campaign, if you look at it, it's a pure emotional marketing campaign. It doesn't talk about how great your credit card is or your debit card is, what's the credit limit, or your interest rate is low, you got cash back, or you got miles or rewards, safety, security, nothing. The way we started the entire priceless campaign was fascinating. We show a father and a son going to a baseball game. And the campaign or the advertisement goes as follows. It says, this is the price of ticket, some $20. Price of soda, $5. Price of autographed ball, $40. But the time spent with your 11-year-old son, priceless. Those are the things which truly matter in life that you should focus your life on. For everything else, there is MasterCard. You're literally putting MasterCard into the background. You're almost making it subservient to everything else, maybe to a secondary or even a tertiary layer. The whole focus is on the father and the son and the beautiful emotions between them. It was an instant success. The moment it was launched, it took off. Now, 21 years later, we are still running. 24 years later, actually, we are still running the priceless campaign extremely successfully, right? This is the power of what emotional marketing can be. You had companies like Coca-Cola, which talk about opening a bottle of happiness. They don't talk about things like, what's the fizz, the freshness, the taste, the quantity, the price, the special offers. The focus was on open a bottle of happiness, one of the very successful campaigns. Or Pepsi talking about the choice of new generation. They talk of everything else other than the product. And they were hugely successful campaigns. That is the power of emotional marketing. Probably in many ways, that was also the pinnacle of marketing, the way marketing was practiced. Marketers were understanding human psychology, their behavior, their fears, their aspirations, their apprehensions, what drives them, what doesn't drive them, and how do they act, how do they behave. There was so much amount of analysis and study about the human psychology and the behavior of human beings, which was fascinating. And that was then translated to the commercial realities of marketing extremely well. Now, this was the second paradigm. And come mid-1990s, there has been another significant shift that happened in marketing. There were two technologies that were born. One was called the World Wide Web, also called the internet. When internet came, people's lives changed totally. And therefore, marketers had to adapt their tactics, their strategies, their frameworks, their theories So a new field was born called digital marketing at that time. And marketing was never the same. It was an irreversible movement into the third paradigm, digital marketing. The second big thing which happened at the same time was data analytics. Till that time, data and data analytics were not really used by marketers. They were more used by the scientists and the economists or the finance people and so on. But marketers didn't have to worry too much about it. But then data had suddenly shown so many possibilities, how precisely you can target, how precisely you can measure, how you can optimize your campaigns and adjust the campaigns to make sure that your returns are very high, etc. This has again totally changed marketing. That is data-driven marketing. So between digital marketing and data-driven marketing, marketing has become completely different and new, right? That was the third paradigm. Interestingly, second paradigm, which is all about emotional marketing, really got its boost when you as a marketer could tell the stories in a very powerful and a compelling fashion that touches people's hearts. So you had to be really good at storytelling. And that storytelling was really brought to life brilliantly by two new technological media in that era. One was called radio, the other one was called television. So radio, you could tell the stories more powerfully, and television, you could tell the stories even more powerfully. And that had a new dimension and depth to marketing. And likewise, the shift from paradigm 2 to paradigm 3 was enabled by data, on the one hand, data analytics and internet. So they have moved marketing from second paradigm to the third paradigm. That lasted well till about 2007. And in 2007, there were two other significant technological revolutions. The first one is Apple iPhone was launched. When Apple iPhone has been launched, that changed people's lives completely. The concept of connected mobile devices was born, never to look back. It exploded upon this world and it became very ubiquitous. The connectivity was there throughout. And I can tell you, in countries, developing countries, like for example, in India, people who could barely afford anything else still had or still have a mobile phone. That's how much it got integrated into the entire society from top to bottom, and it became very indispensable. And on the other hand, the second big revolution that happened was the scaling of Facebook. That was the birth in a real way of social media platforms. Now, once social media platforms have come in, they impacted consumers' behavior altogether, completely changed forever. So between social media platform and the devices, the mobile devices that were connected all the time, our lives have changed. You can look back and see, those of you who are more than 25 years old, you would probably have seen some aspects of this mobile phones and social media platform, right? And you wonder, how would they actually keep in touch with people in those days? There was no mobile phone, there was no social media. And today they have become so indispensable that people literally live with their phone and live on the social media platforms. When that happens, marketing actually shifted from paradigm 3 to paradigm 4. So paradigm 4 is all about social and mobile marketing, right? And the rules of the game changed. Like, for example, in the past, we used to talk about the purchase funnel. One of those models was IDAS. It was awareness, interest, desire, action, satisfaction. So marketers, you would think, okay, how is the funnel looking like? And how do I move the consumer or the prospect from one end of the funnel all the way to the other end of the funnel? Now, those funnels are completely collapsed. They have been turned upside down and they have totally disappeared in many cases. So the point is, as each paradigm has started coming in, the older theories of marketing have totally collapsed. And you needed to reinvent the frameworks. You needed to really rethink how you are approaching this new paradigm. Now, you can go to the next slide, please. Now, when I look at the entire paradigm that we have got ahead of us, I call it the fifth paradigm. So you see right now I have gone through the first paradigm, which is emotional marketing. The second paradigm, which is the first paradigm, I'm sorry, is product marketing. The second paradigm is emotional marketing. The third paradigm is all about data-driven and digital marketing. And the fourth one is mobile and social marketing. Now that brings us to the verge of the fifth platform, our fifth paradigm. Can you go to the next slide, please? So when you look at this, I told you that there are two technologies at a time that moved us from one paradigm to another. Paradigm 1 to 2 was radio and television. From 2 to 3, internet and data analytics. From 3 to 4, mobile and social. But two platforms was all that required to disrupt marketing and usher it into the next paradigm. But today, we are at the verge of witnessing more than 24 technologies coming at us in a rapid fire. More than 24 technologies, right? And each one of them have got a humongous impact on people's lives. They'll be changed. They'll be changed irreversibly. Can you go to the next slide, please? So when you look at this new paradigm, the technologies that are coming, I'll just talk about just a few of them, like artificial intelligence. You got blockchains, you got virtual reality, you got augmented reality, you got Internet of Things, you got wearables, you got 3D printing, you got 5G telecommunications, you got literally, things are coming at us like crazy, autonomous driving vehicles, drones for deliveries, everything around us. If you see area by area by area, we are having these technologies coming in a big way. And we're not talking about these happening 5 years down the line or 10 years down the line. These are happening today. They are already begun to happen today. Some of them are scaling very rapidly. Like, for example, take a technology like smart speakers. Smart speakers were launched fairly recently, right? About hardly 4 years back. Today, already in countries like the USA, Germany, United Kingdom, or Japan, more than 40% of the households already have a smart speaker. And these smart speakers are being used by people at least once a day. By 70% of the owners, they say, I use my smart speaker at least once a day. And a further 70% have said that in the last 90 days, they made at least one purchase using their smart speaker. Right? New technology, which did not exist 5 years back. Today, literally half of these households in the countries that I have listed, who are probably a little bit ahead of the rest of the countries, they are saying, now I'm using this device every single day. Just imagine the power, how rapidly it is going. So what? That's the next question from a marketing point of view. What does it mean? A lot. What it means, for example, is when you are looking at this smart speaker, what happens? You say, hey, Alexa, or hey, Google, I want to buy some item. And Alexa will tell you, you can buy this particular item. You say, okay, fine, go ahead and buy it. And then it goes and makes the purchase for you. You don't really do any search because most of the people, they do not wait for the second and the third recommendations. Typically, if the first recommendation seems to cross the bar, they go with it. Number two, if in a search engine environment, search engine optimization environment, or search engine marketing environment, consumers, when they go into do a search, Google search on some category, assuming I'm sitting in front of my computer, there is a screen and I see a whole number of options and also something on the side, on the top, etc. The beauty in that environment is visually, I can process multiple sets of elements at a time, and I can choose to go forward, backward, upward, sidewise, whichever way I want. But in an audio environment, I can only go one way. The way is forward. I cannot go back. Number two, I cannot see anything because it's all audio, which means I'm doing something else and listening to it and then giving it instructions, which means my attention is not as riveted as it is when I'm in front of a screen. And number three, when a recommendation is made to me, I don't see the brand or any of the brands. And most of the people, are actually going by the recommendation of Alexa, which means now as marketers, we have to first convince Alexa, and then Alexa will decide to put our brand ahead, and only then you'll get to sell. Otherwise, you're not even in the consideration set. It takes the entire search engine optimization to a different level, if you were to think about it. And also, as a brand, how do you show up? Because we have got, for example, a fantastic brand at MasterCard. But if there is no visual real estate to showcase that brand or the logo, what will I do with it? I need to think about new strategies of how to show up as a brand in a voice only or a sound only environment. So we had, for example, come up with our entire sonic branding strategy, essentially with these kind of considerations, right? So this is one part of it. Now, the other aspect is when two technologies at a time are driving marketing into the next paradigm, surely 2 dozen technologies will absolutely throw us into the 5th paradigm. And we are right now at that cusp of the 4th and the 5th paradigms. And in 5th paradigm, all the rules have to be totally rewritten. Nothing that has been working till now will work tomorrow. And that's a strong statement I'm making. And I know exactly what I'm talking. Right? It's very important for us to bear this in mind. I told you in the previous paradigms, the purchase funnel has collapsed. But now I'm telling, as we are entering the 5th paradigm, a lot of other mainstream concepts and theories and strategies will totally be useless. They're collapsing. I'm telling that advertising, as we know, is dead. I'm saying that loyalty is not going to be the same as what it is. It's going to be completely transformed. And consumer insights, the way we get to them, is not going to be the same. It's going to be totally different. Each one of these is just an example of so many other changes that are going to happen. And I talk about them in my book at detail. But I'll just touch upon 3 of these, right? Or maybe 2 of these in the interest of time. Let's start with, say, advertising. And I say advertising, as we know, is dead. Why do I say that? Let me put myself in the shoes of a normal consumer and not as the CMO of a company. I'm sitting in front of the computer and watching a video. And say on YouTube, for example, every 3 minutes, even if I'm watching a song, in the middle of the song, the video stops and they say, here is an advertisement. It's very irritating. It's very frustrating. I'm enjoying the song and suddenly you stop me. And then the stupid ad comes. I hate that ad. And I'm waiting for that 5 seconds to get over and I'm seeing when the skip now button will come up. I'm not paying attention to that ad. I'm waiting for the skip button to come. The moment it comes in, I click it. To make life worse, now YouTube serves 2 ads, not 1. It says ad 1 of 2. So I have to bear that and then go to 2 of 2 and then click at the end of the second one, the skip now button. Is this a good consumer experience? I hate it. It destroys my experience. We talk about creating, as marketers, a frictionless experience for consumers. We want to take friction away. We want to make it seamless experience. But here, in this example I just gave you, we are inserting friction into consumers' experience and destroying their experience. So, as a normal consumer, I develop this active hatred for these ads and for these interruptions and for the channels which are providing me that kind of a lousy experience. On the one hand, if I am savvy, what do? Technologically savvy. I just go ahead and install ad blockers on my devices. So at least I can say, you marketers, stay out of my purview, don't bother me, and I'm shutting you down permanently from my device. Now, are a lot of people doing? The answer is yes. Conservatively, there are 600 million users of ad blockers today in the world, and it is growing very rapidly. There have been some estimates which show that there are almost 2 billion consumers who are using it. even if I don't take that number, but go on the lower extreme, 600 million people are telling you that they hate the ads so much that they're taking the pain to either download an ad blocking software, sometimes even paying for it, and then activating it. You should realize that as a marketer, that you're doing something not correct here. Number two, take a second scenario where consumers are saying, I will go to an ad-free environment, right? And I'm willing to pay for it because I hate these ads so much. I'll pay someone to keep these ads away from me. Netflix, Amazon Prime, even YouTube Premium. They charge money just for the privilege of watching something without advertisements destroying your experience. Netflix, last quarter results, they said they have added, or they have got now 200 million subscribers, just Netflix alone. And their subscribers, and I'm sure there are many of you out here, are watching the ad-free content in an ad-free environment for hours and hours every week, so that there are billions of hours every week of people's time being spent in front of either Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever else is the ad-free environment, which means they are shifting away, at least a significant portion of it, from those channels they used to spend time on before, where we as marketers have an opportunity to show them the ads. Now you can't show them the ads in the other environment. So the available attention is actually shrinking for marketers because of this active dislike and hatred of consumers for advertisements. Now, think about it as a marketer. If people are so sick and tired of our advertisements, do we still hang on to those old models of holding on to the advertisements and say, this is what I'm actually going to continue with? The whole ecosystem is going to change pretty dramatically. And therefore, I keep saying advertising as we know it is dead. And it is a real statement. And go to the second one, I'll take you. Say loyalty. This is another interesting thing. As an industry, we run loyalty programs as a marketing industry, right? And as companies. Collectively, we spend literally hundreds of billions of dollars every year behind the loyalty programs. Hundreds of billions with a B. That's an extraordinary number, right? And what happens is, fascinatingly, we have got evidence to show. In fact, it came ironically out of an article I was reading on bbc.com. That was a genesis, where I saw that, where the article said that a vast majority of people, almost 70%, in a married relationship or in a live-in relationship, have admitted to cheating on their partners. 70% of the people admitting that they cheated on their partners. Now, think about it. If people in their personal lives are not loyal to their partners, in spite of having made some explicit or implicit commitment, and in spite of knowing that there are going to be reputational consequences or financial consequences or emotional consequences if they were to be caught cheating, in spite of it. So knowing the commitments and knowing the consequences, people are still, a vast majority of them, do not exhibit loyalty. Now think of us as marketers. How wise are we in expecting consumers to be loyal to us, our brands, if they're not loyal in their own lives? Right? It's very ironical how we get carried away and we believe that we run some program for frequent miles or frequent points or rewards, cashback, whatever, that consumers are actually loyal to us. It's not true. Consumers are not loyal to us. And in fact, if you talk to consumers, they will tell you that they expect the brands to be loyal to them because the brands are supposed to serve the consumers. The consumers are not serving the brands. It's the other way around. So the loyalty is for the servant to be loyal to the master. The master is the consumer. And that's what it has to be. So we got the loyalty equation totally, totally wrong, and we need to reinvent it. And I call it contextual preference management. Preference management is what we need to focus on, not loyalty management. Preferential management is all about managing at every single point of interaction or influencing consumers to make a decision in favor of your brand as opposed to somebody else's brand. Gone are the days where if you think you got the consumer, you gave a nice rewards program, the consumer is with you, you're kidding yourself. Now, just take my own example, right? If I look at my frequent flyer cards, I literally have a frequent flyer program with every single airline. If I look at my grocery cards, I have Amazon card, I have got Costco card, I have got Walmart, Sam's Club card, and I've got Kroger's card. Who am I loyal to, right? So the point is that we as marketers are kidding ourselves to think that we run these programs and people are loyal to us. We need to reinvent, and that's what actually I give the new framework of what this framework should be in my book, Quantum Marketing. And so I can go on to with this number of examples, but the point is marketing as we know it has to change. The concepts are completely collapsing. The theories are collapsing and will collapse. The strategies have to change. We need to reimagine and reinvent marketing. Now, I'll just take a little example to another situation, which is in physics. So those of you who have studied physics, you know that this is the science with which you understand how things around you work in the real world. Now, in this real world, when you see like things like laws of gravity, laws of magnetism, or electricity, you've got Newton's laws of motion. All these laws help you understand how things work around you. And then you can use them, you can leverage them, you can deploy them. However, when mankind or humankind discovered outer space or subatomic spaces or particles which are moving very fast, approaching the speed of light, classical physics was not able to explain. It was completely at a loss to explain what was happening. And a new field of physics was born called quantum physics. And quantum physics is now the basis on which all of our modern day understanding actually rests on. It's built on that, right? And in the same way, I see that classical marketing is going to completely collapse immediately with the advent of the fifth paradigm. We need to reinvent marketing. We need a new approach to marketing, which is what I call as quantum marketing. So what quantum physics is to physics, quantum marketing is to marketing. So that's why I actually look at this whole thing. And in this, we rewrite the entire playbook, reinvent, reimagine, and write the playbook all afresh. Let me go to a second quick topic, which is the second theme of my book, which is that marketing today is an existential crisis. Why do I say marketing is an existential crisis? Many surveys have been done amongst CEOs as to what they think about their marketing teams and their CMOs. A vast majority of them have said that they have zero or no confidence in marketing, in the marketing teams to drive business growth, which is unfortunate. It's a disaster, right? And again, this number happens to be more than 70%. 70% plus of CEOs have said that they don't have any faith and confidence in the marketing teams to drive business growth. As a result, many companies have started doing away with the role of CMO. These are not just some industrial companies which barely do any marketing. I'm talking about blue chip marketing companies like packaged goods companies, including somebody like, for example, Johnson & Johnson. They don't have a CMO today. Then another phenomena which is happening is there is a tremendous amount of influx of new C-suite executives called chief revenue officers, chief customer officers, chief growth officers. Now, if you take away revenue, growth, and customers, what else is left in marketing if you think about it, right? And so those are being brought in because when marketers are being asked questions, which are business questions, the business leaders are not getting the right answers. They're getting some marketing fluff in response. As a result of which, there is an erosion of the credibility in marketing, and CEOs and CFOs are trusting marketers lesser and lesser and replacing them with these other kinds of C-suite executives. And the last point I would like to make is, in many companies, those of you who are probably 30, 40 years old, you would have read Philip Kotler, which is, I would consider it as one of the classical foundations for modern marketing. In it, he talks about the 4 P's of marketing: product, price, place, and promotion. Many of the marketing organizations today don't handle product. They don't handle pricing. They don't handle place, which is distribution. They barely are holding on to the one of the 4 pillars of marketing, which is promotion. And these 3 P's, product, place, price, and place, these are handled by other departments. So marketing scope is shrinking. Marketers are losing their seat at the table. Other functions are coming in, which are taking on marketing responsibilities. And CEOs are eliminating several marketing roles. This, to me, is a classical crisis. There is no softer way of putting it. There is an existential crisis that we are in at this point in time in the midst of. And that's something which we have to be aware of and do something about. One of the fundamental reasons why this is happening is from the 3rd paradigm onwards, data and technology have come into the space of marketing in a big way. Unfortunately, many marketers are more qualitative and they are focused on the softer aspects of marketing, which is like psychology, sociology, brand positioning, brand design, aesthetics, ads, etc. But the CEOs and the CFOs, they want hardcore answers. They're talking about, okay, what is my ROI? What is your marketing campaign done for my top line results or for my bottom line results? Is it enhancing my retention or new acquisition? How is the lead generation? They want to see the entire marketing investment giving them tangible results. And when they're asking those questions as to what the hell is marketing doing, and if you go back and give an answer, my brand awareness has gone up, my net promoter score has gone up, it looks like you don't know the answer and that you're hiding behind marketing jargon. So you cannot give a marketing answer to your business question. You need to give a business answer to your business question, because that is not happening today, because many of the marketers are not savvy enough on numbers. They don't understand how their business makes money. They don't connect the dots between their marketing actions and a business outcomes. There is a problem. So this is the kind of situation that we are in. So the key thing is marketers have to do something about it. Either they have people who are quantitatively savvy coming into the teams to make sure that they are helping the rest of the folks to connect the dots, or even have a finance team or finance person, depending on the size of your team, in your own team. Like, for example, when I started my role as a CMO at MasterCard, I hired a CFO into my department, a CFO and a finance department that resides within marketing with a dual reporting to the CFO. Now, that kind of a thing is what we need to really look at as one of the first basic steps. And you need to educate yourself. You need to get quantitatively equipping yourself. You need to understand the connections between your marketing actions and the business outcomes. That is going to be very, very, very critical. Let me move to the last part of my talk, which is about the cultural transformation. Today, we are in the midst of tectonic changes in culture. Things are shifting like crazy, whether it is for economic reasons, or it is happening for social reasons, or it is happening for reasons of pandemic, call it whatever it is. Our society is evolving. It is changing pretty radically, pretty dramatically. There is polarization. There is nationalization and nationalistic fervor. There is social, unfortunately, discrimination, racial discrimination. There are all kinds of things happening, which is unfortunate, but those are the realities that we have got. So marketers have to be understanding very clearly what these cultural shifts are, what these cultural transformations are, and make sure that they are operating in the context of those realities. It's easy for us to say, hey, now there is a campaign about healthcare. Everyone is talking about how healthcare workers are so intensely trying to help the rest of the people, exposing themselves to all kinds of issues when it comes, for example, to COVID treatment. So everyone then talks about thanking healthcare workers or frontline workers. But that's not how you should go as a marketer. It's not just joining the bandwagon when a particular topic is trending. You need to understand the purpose of your brand. You need to understand the value and the characteristics of your brand. And you need to be able to navigate in this kind of a marketplace with the right voice, with authenticity, consistency, and continued commitment. I don't think I'll be able to go too much into this detail, but I talk about this extensively in my book, along with things like what's purpose. And a lot of people confuse purpose-driven marketing with cause marketing, what the differences are and how they are related, the role of integrity and ethics in marketing, etc. I talk about these extensively, so I'll not go there. I do hope that you'll have an opportunity to procure my book and then take a look at it. But overall, what I want to end this whole talk with is to say that as much as I have painted a picture of doom and gloom in some sense, this is by far the most inspiring moment to be in marketing. As marketers, we are very powerful. We have the resources, we have the network, we have the creativity, we have the innovative way of thinking. We can make a huge difference. Companies will face an extraordinary level of competition that they haven't seen before. A small company can effectively fight a giant and win because of the democratization. The beauty of technology and data is that they democratize the competing field. So everybody is operating on the same level. Your scale cannot be an advantage anymore, or your brand heritage cannot be your advantage anymore. You need to really fight it on a day-to-day basis, right? It's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a real aggressive day-to-day survival and thriving. So from that perspective, companies need marketing to succeed and thrive in this kind of an environment more than ever before. So companies' need of marketing is going to be phenomenal. Number two, the technology and data capabilities that will be available for marketers will be absolutely amazing. And number three, marketers have what it takes to succeed. What they got to do is to educate themselves quickly, train their people quickly, start experimenting with new technologies like artificial intelligence very quickly, and they will be the kings and the queens. I can tell you that in the business. So this is the most inspiring time to be in marketing. I would have not wanted to be in any other time than now. And I'm grateful that I'm in marketing at this point in time. And I would love to see how marketing will regain its seat at the table, will regain not just the glamour and the glitz of marketing, but also the gravitas of marketing back. So that's what I wanted to share with you folks. Again, if you are interested enough and if I have inspired you enough, I hope you'll go and buy my book and read it, Quantum Marketing. And it's available everywhere, as best as I'm told. And I hope you'll read it and you'll enjoy it. And I would love to hear back from you all in terms of whether you can follow me on Twitter and engage with me on Twitter or on LinkedIn or on Instagram. So look forward to hearing from you all.
Fantastic. Raja, unfortunately, that is all we have got time for today. I want to thank you once again. I know how busy you are. I appreciate you taking an hour out of your schedule to be with us today and share all of these insights. And like I say, there's so much more there in the book. And we do encourage people to go out there and take a look at that if they want to go deeper into some of the topics that you were talking about today. Raja, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Chris. Really appreciate having me. Stay safe and be well.
Thank you.